Okay, this is another perspective. The name of this channel is going to be Another Perspective. And pretty soon, we're going to have people like sit down and talk about like just regular stuff, man. Like just regular stuff that's going on in the world. Every single day is going to be a different topic. You know what I'm saying? Every single day is going to be a different topic. Every day is going to be a different topic of discussion where people are going to talk about different things. Now, today, and pretty soon, we're going to have like a roundtable discussion. I'm going to have like three people sitting around the table, and this is going to be something like The View or The Real or The Talk, where we're just going to be sitting down talking about different issues. Because I feel like people have things that they want to get off their chest. You know, people have things they want to get off their chest, and I want people to come on there and be able to comment and be able to, say what they want to say, you know, say what they want to say. So this is stuff that you're not going to hear on CNN. You're not going to hear on MSNBC. You're not going to hear on Fox. We're going to talk about topics that you're not going to hear on CNN. But I want to give people a different way of looking at things because I have a different idea. Like I have a different perspective. I don't see things the way the average everyday person sees it. So, I don't see things. I see things different. Now, right now, I'm just sitting in my living room like right now. So, but eventually I'm going to be sitting at a round table and it's going to be other people around the table. And I'm going to have three other people that I'm going to like hire to sit down and we're going to have like a round table discussion about different things. I'm going to have videos and pics where you can see things that are going on with Donald Trump, with CNN, um, things that's just going on in the world today. Today's topic is going to be the 2024 election, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Whatever's your opinions about Mr. Donald Trump, the president elect. Now, and Kamala Harris. Now, this is me. Number one, I like Kamala Harris. I think that she is a very nice person. I like her personality. I like her persona. I like her attitude. I like her spunk. But I mean, there are things about Kamala Harris that I don't really know. And I think I want people to really come on here and give their opinions about the 2024 election. I have about 100 different topics, and every day is going to be a different topic. And pretty soon we're going to show our faces and we're going to have people come sit down with the round table. And I'm going to have people come just sit down. I'm going to invite different people, different types of people, black, white, yellow, green, whoever, to just come and sit down and just give their opinions about what's going on in the world today, about their own experiences, their own careers, their own lives. We're going to talk about the VA, Social Security, what's going on in Russia and Ukraine. I mean, things that's going on in the world of entertainment. There's so many things that people are facing today, so many issues that I feel like people are facing today. And I feel like people want a platform that people can come on and just voice their opinion and just talk about things that they've been through in their lives. And people, I just wanted to make a channel about, hey, another perspective. There's a place where people could just come and just talk about their life experiences and stuff that they've been through and, their fears and, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Hey, whatever you do. I mean, people are going on there eating food, cooking, eating. I said, so, hey, I could come on there and make a channel about just talking about different topics that's going on in the world today that people are not thinking about. Like, people are worried. Now, me about Donald Trump, I don't know. I feel like it's wrong. Donald Trump, he's been impeached 2 times. Now, I feel like he has some good ideas now. But the reality of it is, this man has been impeached 2 times. I feel like why, and he's not been held accountable for anything. I said he cited an insurrection. I feel like he cited the insurrection. He's not being held accountable for that. I feel like this man is not being held accountable for anything. I feel like he's just not been held accountable for anything that he's done. I mean, the hush money, I feel like the hush money wasn't even a big deal. And I kept saying that. I said, why are they so adamant about the hush money. He's already been prosecuted and convicted for, the hush money. I said they didn't have a sentencing. When is the sentencing? When he got arrested, they let him out. They holding Diddy in jail, but they let Donald Trump out. Why is that? I said they should have been holding him till his trial. They holding Puffy. They holding Diddy in jail. What about Donald Trump? That's my whole issue. What about Donald Trump? When he was first arrested, they should have held him with no bail, but they let him out. Let him go back to his little, you know, place in Mar-a-Lago and chill. You know what I'm saying? So I mean that's crazy. So I feel like it's preference for certain people and it's preference for other people. We're going to talk about the race issue stuff that's going on with the race issues in the United States, but today is just solely going to be about the 2024 election. Tomorrow is going to be another topic. The next day is going to be another topic. Every day is going to be a different topic. And I mean the 2024 election for me, Donald Trump winning, I feel like it's crazy. It's really crazy. I said because I feel like he should have never been allowed to run again. He has 34 felonies, 34 counts against him. He stirred up an insurrection. And I remember Miss Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney is very good lady. I feel like Miss Cheney, she probably would make a good president one day. Liz Cheney, she is a very good lady. I'm going to talk about some of these politicians, some of the ones I like. We're going to have a certain day to talk about that. I'm going to talk about some of the people I like, some of the people I don't. There are Republicans, that's okay. There's some Republicans that they're not that bad. But I'm mostly a Democratic type person. But Donald Trump, so that's my opinion about Donald Trump. I think he has some good ideas. And I know that I feel like he could get along good with the world leaders because the world leaders really want to get along with him. I feel like the world leaders do want to work with him. I feel like, Zelensky wants to work with him. I believe Putin is going to, really, I don't know. He says now, this is one thing he says he's going to stop what's going on in Ukraine. He says, he's going to sit down with Vladimir Putin. He says, and he's going to stop the war. He said that's one thing he's going to do on day one. He is going to try to stop the war in Ukraine. What is going on? He's already met with Zelensky. He's already talked to Volodymyr Zelensky. So Zelensky looked like he's willing to work with Trump. But one thing I think is kind of good, some of these world leaders, they look like they're going to be willing to work with him. They look like they're going to be able to work with him. So maybe he may be able to get something accomplished on the foreign affairs, on the world stage. I don't know. But I think Donald Trump, he needs to just stick to the issues. And if he does the right thing, then maybe he might could redeem himself. But I still feel like, they're giving him too much power. They're making him be like a king. Donald Trump is not a king, period. And when the founding fathers, when George Washington, they wanted to make George Washington king. After the Revolutionary War, everybody was praising George Washington, like he was this, he was that. And they wanted to make George Washington king. But George Washington said, no, I'm not going to be king. We're going to have a president. So he wanted to be president. That's how they got presidents. It could have been a monarchy. They didn't want to make this a monarchy. People was hailing, George Washington like he was a king, like he was great. Because they won the Revolutionary War and they got their freedom from England. And people was hailing George Washington like he was this great king. But George Washington said he didn't want to be king. He said, we're going to have a presidency. We're going to have president. Because president is going to have 2 terms. Because we don't want one man or one woman to get too much power. We don't want one man or we don't want one woman to gain too much power. We don't want that. So that's why they don't have 2. They have 1 president, 2 terms. But one thing I could say, let's get Donald Trump out the way. After this, he can't run no more. Let him have his 1 term and let him go about his business. You won't have to worry about him no more because a president only get 2 terms anyway. And that's one thing that I feel, but I feel like what my issue about it is, I feel like people didn't really know Kamala Harris. People didn't really know Tim Walz. I like Tim Walz. I think he was a cool guy. But people, they gained a lot of traction. And they raised almost $1 billion. If she didn't raise $1 billion, hell, she raised almost $1 billion. This is one thing I want to talk about too. What happened to all that money? What they gonna do with the rest of that money? What happens to the rest of that money? Do they just save it for the next election? Do they save it for the next president? For the next people that's gonna run? What are they gonna do with the rest of the money in that war chest? Because I want to know how much money they spent. Kamala Harris, because she raised almost $1 billion. If she didn't raise $1 billion, baby, she sure raised close to it. If she didn't raise $1 billion, how about she? I know she sure raised close to it. So I'm just real curious, like, oh, okay. I wonder how much money Kamala Harris raised. She finally raised almost $1 billion. This is things I want to talk about, things that you're not going to hear on CNN. You're not going to hear them talk about on MSNBC. You're not going to hear them talk about on Fox. I'm going to give you another perspective to this thing. I'm going to give you a whole nother perspective. A whole nother perspective. Because, just a whole nother perspective. I'm going to give you a whole nother perspective to this thing. And I want to give people a whole nother, way of looking at this thing. My thing is all the money they raised. These are topics that they're not going to bring up on CNN. These are topics you're not going to hear them talk about on NBC. These are topics you're not going to hear them talk about on Fox and none of these other stations. What they do with the rest of that money in that war chest. I want to know what they do with the rest of that money from the political campaign. What they do with the rest of that. Because I know they didn't spend all that money. What Kamala and them going to do with the rest of that money? Because, hell, she raised almost $1 billion. And this is my thing. All the celebrities she came out with, Beyonce, Cardi B, Eminem, Kelly Rowland, whoever else she bought out. Oh, Megan Thee Stallion, whoever. Then, all these other people. She had all these people come up there. She had the big wigs, baby. Obama, Michelle. She had all these people come up and speak for her. And she still couldn't win the election. She raised all that money. They failed somewhere. And everybody's sitting down now at the round table because I'm going to have people sitting down at the round table and we're going to talk about what happened. How did she lose? What happened? So how did Miss Kamala Harris lose the election? Beautiful lady, intelligent woman. I liked her attitude on the Senate Judiciary Committee. When she was on the Senate Judiciary Committee, I think she was excellent. She was very good the way she handled herself. She's a very, very intelligent woman. She's definitely a force to be reckoned with, but she just could not make it. She just could not beat Donald Trump. And I don't know why. But I think a real big issue was the economy. That's another thing I wanted to talk about, the economy and the gas prices and all the money they're giving to Ukraine. Okay, this is another topic that I want to dig out of the box. All the money that Biden administration, I love Joe Biden. He's a great guy. Whatever. But my thing is, I voted for Joe Biden in 2020. I think Joe Biden is great. But my thing is, his administration failed miserably on a lot of issues. That's why I feel like Donald Trump won, because people are tired. People are tired. People are struggling. People are really struggling. That's why I want to have people come on here and talk about what they're going through. And people can have an outlet where they could let their feelings out and just let their feelings be known. That's what this channel is going to be. It's going to be called Another Perspective. Instead of just putting my name on there, or my picture on there, I'm just going to put, hey, another perspective. Right? Because this is just another perspective. So I just feel like, what happened to all that money? And Kamala Harris and them war chests. I want to know what they're going to do with the rest of that money. A. B. What's going on? I hear they're giving the migrants money. They're giving the migrants all these places to stay. They're not helping their own United States citizens. You got people that was born here in this country, and they will not help these people. They're giving billions of dollars to Ukraine. I've been saying this for the last 2 years, since 22. Like however long this mess been going on. I said ever since then. I said, oh, that's what they doing now? I said, oh, wow. They have these lies out. They talking about, oh, you get a $5,000 debit card. Where my 5,000 debit card at? Then when you call the number, they ask you, oh, Medicare and Medicaid. They ask you, do you have Medicare? Do you have Medicaid? Okay, you say no. Are you 65 years old or younger? Okay, you could get this. It's a ploy to get people into this medical insurance. Why don't they really give these people a $5,000 debit card for low income people, for people that's struggling? Maybe you have to show your proof of your income or your tax return or something that you could show. You know what I'm saying? As evidence or proof. I was thinking that too. Something like that. Maybe you could do that. But people that's really struggling need help. Instead of these scams out here, why don't y'all really give these people, instead of sending all this money to Ukraine? That's another thing that I think people got mad about. People are out here struggling in this economy. They can't barely buy food. They can't barely pay rent. These high rent prices. These houses are too damn much now. I remember back in the 70s and 80s, people were buying houses for $40,000, $50,000. Now these houses are $200,000, $300,000. People can't make it. But yet they're giving billions of dollars to Ukraine. That's why I think this channel is going to be specific for people that's going through a lot right now. People that's going through it. They're giving all this money to Ukraine. Then they wonder why they lost the election. I think that's part of the reason why they lost the election. Why they ran a great campaign. They had all these celebrities. They raised all this money, but yet they still couldn't win the election. Because I feel people are tired and people are frustrated. Definitely, I feel like with the economy, they was giving all this money to Ukraine. The American people need help. They don't want to give no money to the American people. So I feel like that's definitely one reason why Kamala Harris and them, the Democrats, lost the election. The House, now the Republicans got the House and the Senate. They done won the House. They got the majority in the Senate. And they got a substantial majority in the Senate. I think they got 50-something seats in the Senate. 57 seats, I think. Every single time the Democrats had a majority in the Senate, they never had a convincing majority. The Democrats have not had a convincing majority in the Senate, probably not since 2006 to 2008 or 2009, within that era. That's the last time I think the Democrats had a substantial majority in the Senate. The Democrats have not had a substantial majority in the Senate since 2009 when Obama was in there. And after that, they lost. I think they lost the House. But the Democrats can never have a majority. Never. These Republicans, they not about the people. They're not about the people. They're not about the working class people. Because I remember back in 2020 in the pandemic when they was giving people the $600 a week. People was grappling for that. People was grappling at the whatever for that, baby. People was grappling at that. People was grappling, baby. People was grappling at that. So that really made me believe that the average person is really struggling out here. I feel the average person ain't barely making $600 a week because the pandemic really revealed a lot of things too. The pandemic revealed a lot of things. The Republicans, they wanted to stop the $600 a week. They didn't want the people to get the $600 a week. They didn't want the people to get the $600 a week. That's crazy. They did not want those people to get the $600 a week. The Democrats wanted to continue it on. They didn't have a majority enough. In order to get anything that Donald Trump wants to pass and anything that Donald Trump wants to get done, he is not going to have no problem. Donald Trump is in a very good position right now. Donald Trump is in a position that any president wants to be in, Democratic or Republican, black, white, male, or female. Donald Trump is in a position where any president wants to be in. He has a majority in the House and he has a majority in the Senate. And he can get anything done. Any law that he wants to get passed, we're going to have to have a second part. This is the first day of this channel, Another Perspective. We're going to go off the air in a little while, but we will be back tomorrow to continue the discussion about Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, about the 2024 election. My opinions about Donald Trump. My opinion about Donald Trump, like I said, no, I'm not happy he won. I feel like he should not have been allowed to run for president. And I'm just telling people, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. But we're going to have, we're almost going to have to go off the air in a little while. But we're going to come back. Part 2 will be tomorrow. Or maybe later on, I may come back and record another video for part 2. But I'm going to change the name of this channel to Another Perspective. It's not going to be, I'm not going to have my name on there anymore. My picture's still on there, but it's going to be like Another Perspective. Maybe I might just have political things on there now. My channel is going to be like political stuff. Well, not really political. Like I said, we're going to have different topics of discussion every day, but I want people to come on there and comment and give their feelings about what's going on with the war chest. Like after the campaign, what do they do with that money? What do they do with those funds that they spent? Because I know good and well, Kamala Harris, she didn't hardly have no commercials on TV. So what did they do with that money? What did they do with that money? This country is going down. They're giving billions of dollars to Ukraine. The gas prices are coming down a little bit. But these are topics that I know is severely affecting a lot of people. And that's why I want people to come on there and speak their own mind and have their own opinion. And I wanted to give a channel about another perspective. I have another perspective. I'm looking at this thing from a whole nother way. That's why people voted for Donald Trump. Because they're probably tired of the economy. They're tired of the BS. They're tired of business as usual. They feel like Donald Trump is not really part of the establishment. He's different. And I feel like they wanted something different. So they voted for something different. They probably voted for something different. And these are the reasons why I think I'm not really 100% sure. I don't know why people voted the way that they voted, but I'm just saying I feel like maybe that could be one of the reasons why people voted for Donald Trump. Because they got tired of the Biden administration. They were giving all this money to Ukraine, giving all this money to Ukraine. Giving all this money to Ukraine. Billions of dollars to Ukraine. It's a lot of corruption. I think it's a lot of corruption in the Democratic Party as well as the Republican Party. But we're going to have plenty of time to talk about those issues too as well. The Democratic Party, Republican Party. I'm going to be here from a liberal perspective. I'm not going to take either side. I'm not going to take the Democratic. I'm going to look at the faults of the Republican Party. I'm looking at the faults of the Democratic Party. That's why I'm saying, that's why I call this channel Another Perspective, because we're going to give people a whole nother way of looking at things. I'm going to talk about, like I said, you're not going to hear that on CNN. They're giving all these millions of dollars to Ukraine. What about the American people? Some of that money that they're using to send to Ukraine, they could be helping their own American citizens. They need to be building homeless shelters. They need to be helping these homeless people, building funds, trust funds. Criminals that can't afford attorneys. I think legal aid, sometimes legal aid ain't about nothing. What about other issues? What about other issues that people might be facing in the world today? These are things that people need to look at. But that's my opinion about the 2024 election, Mr. Donald Trump, Kamala Harris. That I'm looking at both of them, like I said, from just a neutral standpoint. I'm looking at Donald Trump and I'm looking at Kamala Harris from a neutral standpoint. Like I said, and what I feel happened. The hush money trial, Donald Trump needs to be held accountable. He did not accept that election. He didn't accept it. That's why I said at 30 minutes, we're going to cut it. Doing part 2 tomorrow of the 2024 election. I got to get some producers to really make this channel be upgraded, to make it be upgraded. Content creator. I didn't think about really doing a YouTube channel, but now I thought about it. I wanted to really come out with a show because I'm a producer. I'm an aspiring TV producer myself. So I thought about, I wanted to come out with a show about like the talk or like the real, called Another Perspective. But then I said a lot of things that I have to say, probably won't be allowed to say it on ABC. We won't be allowed to say it on NBC or CBS or any one of your major networks. I'm still prime. I don't care about cable. I'm kind of an old fashioned type person where, I remember the days where all we had was your basic channels. We had CBS, you had NBC, you had ABC, you had PBS. Those are still your main basic channels. And, I thought about maybe on NBC, I mean, I felt like ABC has the talk. I mean, ABC has the view. CBS had the talk. I feel like NBC didn't have a show like that. So I felt like a show like that would be good for NBC. But then I said, you know what? No, I'm just going to come on here and do, because I am an aspiring TV producer. Mercedes, I'm Mercedes, baby. Mercedes, girl, I'm Mercedes. How could I even come on here and not even introduce myself? That's crazy. My name is Mercedes. But one day people are going to see me. I'm going to be sitting down to the round table with other people, and I want to have a discussion about different topics. And we're just going to discuss different topics, things that people don't talk about, things you don't hear about every day. I want people to be able to come on here and vote their conscience and get things off their chest. Donald Trump should not have been allowed to run for president again. He really should have been probably brought up on charges for treason. And I'm not even trying to be funny, because I feel like he tried to overthrow the United States government. He took out classified documents out the White House, but they are going to allow him to get back up in that White House. I don't know why. I think there is going to be a plot twist. I think now this type of stuff on here is just my opinion. I don't want people to take it to heart. Oh, Mercedes said this and Mercedes said that. You know what I'm saying? Mercedes is just talking her conscience. Mercedes don't want no trouble with anybody. Mercedes is just talking her conscience, baby. But I'm just saying, hey, I want to get a lot of people to come on here and really listen to what I have to say. But I want other people to get, because I don't just want to be like a tyrant. I don't want to be like a dictator. I don't want to be a dictator. I don't want to be just the only person coming on here giving my opinions, and nobody else can't come on here and talk and give their own opinions about how they feel about different topics. Today and the next is going to be part 2 of the 2024 election. Donald Trump should not have been allowed to run for president. He has 34 felonies. He'd have been impeached 2 times. He should not have been allowed to run for president again. And I don't know if you hear these people on CNN probably saying that. Now, CNN and MSNBC, they are going to be saying that he should not. But I don't see anybody really, really standing up and putting their foot down and really saying, look, this man, he should not have been allowed to run for president again. Okay. If he has 2 felonies, well, whatever. 34 felonies, baby. He still have not been held accountable for that January 6th insurrection. He still have not been held accountable for that. The only thing that they supposedly has held him accountable for so far is just that hush money. They so worried about that hush money, that Stormy Daniels BS, and that hush money BS. They so worried about that, but they have not held this man accountable for anything yet. He has not been held accountable, and he needs to be held accountable for that insurrection. He should not have been allowed to run for president. Before he be allowed, maybe he could run for president somewhere down the line, but I feel like they should have got that dealt with first. They should have had, they still haven't had what happened to Fani Willis. They was focused on Fani Willis. They was focused on her. Talk about she was having an affair with the other lawyer, with the other district attorney. They was focused on Fani Willis. If you notice, they stopped talking about that. That just went on off the grid. And all of a sudden now, he's running for president again. This country is going down. And I feel it's probably going to be a mass exodus out this country. People are going to be leaving. People are going to be leaving because, it doesn't make sense. He wants to stop. Oh, he wants to cut the health care. But my main concern with Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, my main concern is Donald Trump should not, I don't care if you don't like Kamala Harris, that's fine. But my point, Donald Trump should not have been allowed to run for president again because he cited that insurrection. He never accepted his loss. He kept trying to get people to overturn that election. Now, when he won, you don't see the Democrats trying to overturn the election. You don't see the Democrats fighting. You see it's going to be a smooth transition of power. Okay? It's going to be a smooth transition of power. And President Biden, very nice man. Like I said, Biden, he's a very nice man. He's very gracious. I like Joe Biden, but I feel like his administration have failed. His administration have failed. But this is going to be a part 2 to this. It's going to be a part 2. So we're signing off right now. Thank you guys. I love you guys. We're going to show our faces eventually. I want people to see our faces eventually. I'm going to have people sitting at the round table. It's going to be like The Talk, or it's going to be like The View. It's going to be like 4 people. I may get 2 men and 2 women. And we're just going to be sitting around the round table and everybody just talking and giving their own opinions and having discussions about topics that's going on in the world today.